Progress Racing presents Show Us Your Tips, midweek preview time. Joined by the Beaver as always, as he Beaver's away on his phone. I'm glad you silenced that, mate. Well done.
That's right, mate.
It's good audio. What's going on, mate?
Oh, mate, just normal stuff. Chipping away. Life's good,
How was the weekend for you?
mate. Thankfully, I played a bit low key because I was out and about doing some stuff and didn't get into my day till middle of the day and didn't get off to a great start because once Nature's Strip got out to $2, I jumped on that and got burnt there, which didn't impress me. And so I didn't do too much else after that. I had a bit of a bet on September run, and when that got rolled, I went, I'm going to put the Q in the rack. So I only really had a couple of bets, and unfortunately, I didn't get on Homesman, who I did tip on the show.
Yeah.
And yes, but I'm quite happy. I kind of smelled a rat and sort of put the Q in the rack, and because I was busy and wasn't able to study the form, I even like the movements in the market, I ended up probably on top on the day.
That's fair enough.
Because I didn't bet.
I ended up getting the early quaddie at Melbourne, which covered the day, and then I was playing cricket, so the back end of the day I only had the other multiples going, and that obviously was no good. I was very happy when Volpine won, which I did mention on the show as well, as a start with the quaddie, but obviously it went off a cliff after then. I would be very forgiving of a lot of horses from Randwick on Saturday.
100%.
Fast track, and you had to be either one or two, probably close to the rails, I think, which says obviously what a great win Lions Roar was. And a horse like
Mount Popper was good.
And Mount Popper was good, but did set rails leaders back, I suppose. But the first half car was okay, but I would be forgiving of your stay insides, your some of those horses that got back in the field throughout the day, heading into Golden Slipper.
What'd you take out of the 2-year-old race?
Still with the Colts. If Artorias is
100%.
coming, I think he might be the one. If Animo beat them, it did again lead us back. I'm forgiving stay inside. Profiteer, Hugh probably should let run. I think there was nothing to be gained from fighting him and running him into the ground. They did run better time by a bit, I think, on the girls. So I think the boys, Artorias, who was good to us in the Blue Diamond, I think if he turns up, he's a serious player. I'm forgiving stay inside. They'll be the two for me at this stage. And with given the bias, I think Swift Witness was a great run out of the girls' race, but not too interested in that form. I think that's probably a little bit lower. Who wasn't there? Who's to come in for the slipper? I'm just trying to think.
Well, look,
2 weeks back.
I was pretty happy with the run of Profiteer. I think I took a lot out of that. As you touched on, I think they should have let it run. And for it to stick on and still finish second, it was entitled to give up the ghost there, given the run it had in transit, went hard. They fought against it, and it still found enough. And I think if it can settle a little bit better, and it's not unusual for him in the slippers to get out in front and just keep going.
Yeah,
I think Profiteer is still a huge chance, and I think you just get a better price now.
You will. I think you'll get $8 or so now.
Yep.
And rain on the way. I think rain's on the way the next couple of weeks, so get through the wet okay too. If you're keen on Profiteer,
yep.
I think I still think that's the form. I think that race plus Artorias is the form now. I'm just trying to think who we potted or mentioned 2 weeks back that might be away from there. None of the fillies.
Just that.
The just one Nash Road. 4 moves ahead might be the hope for the girls. Yeah, sorry, you're going to say something?
Oh, just waiting to see if the Queensland horse comes.
Yeah. Well, that's you've got a soft spot there, and it looks like it's got a bit of talent. The other Group 1s, what do we have? Yeah, as I said, Lions Roar, outstanding. For a friend of the show, Carol, Harmony Rose was outstanding, covering ground the whole time. So very hard to beat in the Oaks. Aegon, I'll forgive back to wet. And down in Melbourne, well, it was a bit of a non-event for September run. Just when it looked like she was about to explode, she got shut up again. And the Holmeston race was a bit of a funny run thing. I don't think we need to worry too much about either of those races going forward somehow. Heading to Sydney anyway.
100%. 100%. Let's get on with tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah, we head to Kenzo. Bit of rain around last night and a bit of rain around today, but currently sitting the rail true looks dry actually. Penno about the 4.9 mark. And typical Kenzo. No, you know what you're going to get. Probably on pace early and down the outside late. We'll kick off with the 2-year-olds as I bring up my notes. 3-year-olds, in fact. And I think there might be a winner. I think there might be a winner in the first with Jojo Was a Man. This thing in the first trial alongside Wild Ruler. Obviously, that looks pretty good now. And then it was a very nice winning second trial, winning pretty easily, and comes to it is probably going to get back in the field, but comes to a race of not much chop. So, obviously debuting 1,400 meters is always a bit of a concern, but I think it's probably better than these around the $2.40 mark.
Yeah, looks to be that way. And if the trial form is any guide, then probably should be winning this race.
We get the next two. We've got the couple of 2-year-old races. You got any thoughts in these two?
Look, I actually think Ethilric in the second looks to have the edge on a lot of these. I know its first two runs like this prep are 4th and 4th, but look, I thought it stuck on pretty well last start at Newcastle over 900, and that was stepping back a couple of 100 meters. I think the step back out to the 1,000 will suit here, and I expect it to probably be a little bit too classy for these.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't have a great lot to add here. I figured if numbers 3 and 4, Hombre and Jerry, had any ability, they're probably going to run well here. Into the third with the girls as well, the girls version of the 2-year-old race. I think I've mentioned Naj Marty before on the show. Has been saved since then. Tried up very well for the Hawks. After the Snowdens, actually. J-Mac on board, and I think the one to beat for the 2-year-olds here. Any thoughts in this race?
Yeah, hard to get a line on anything else. Memjadi won a trial very comfortably and looked pretty good. Looked to have a bit of ability. Look, it's drawn a little bit wide here, but they'll probably use it up and go to the lead, and probably hardest to run down. Hard to get a line through anything else. You'd have to probably go with it.
Yep. Race 4, another maiden with a lot of unraced horses. Any opinions, or should we brush through?
No opinion here, Matt, at all.
Yeah, the only thing I'll mention is Goddess did beat September Run in a trial back in January. So if you can take that for what it's worth, but I don't think I'll be playing in that race. We get to the quaddy legs, and this is a cracker. The 5th race, benchmark 78 over the 1150. Is a ripping race. Do you have a thought on it though?
Yeah, look, I'm going for Tinker McPhee.
Yep.
Just like it a little bit better at the price. Comes across from New Zealand. A couple of trials have been pretty good. A lot to like about it. Might be further improved by a first up run, but certainly the big danger here, and I think it'll be hitting the line pretty hard.
That was the one I found as well. If you go back through its form, it actually bolted in, towed up Brando on top of the ground back in New Zealand, went on to win the New Zealand Guineas, I believe. That's good on form, and then came here, and we both had an opinion of it in the CS Hayes. It obviously didn't travel that well, but it's got a win over that, and it's got form through the rest of it. It's essentially New Zealand Group 1 form in a midweek race, and around $6.50. The trials have both been really nice. And I found the same horse. Race 5, number 3. Outside of that, there isn't, there's little bits and pieces here. Valmaster obviously started $1.70 in town up in Sydney and played up and carried on like a pork chop. But I thought the main danger away from Tinker McPhee for me was Mr. Mosaic. If no trial coming in fresh, if it's rails on, it's going to bolt through and could keep going. I think that's the main danger.
Hard to catch. Yeah.
So the two at the even money price there, Tinker McPhee and as a little saver, Mr. Mosaic. Race 6, the benchmark 78 for the over the 1550 actually. a couple of your old sparring partners here, Beaver. Have you got a thought though?
Yeah, I think the top weight, Arcana, looks hardest to beat here. Raced in Saturday class last when it was first up. Wasn't the worst run in the world. Showed enough for me to suggest that second up will be fitter. Steps up in distance, getting out to sort of that mile and a quarter, which was more suited. Drawn 6. It's carrying the top weight. And a good horse's weight. But look, I think it's got the edge on these and should be hard to beat.
No, cool. Not much to add there. Another cracking race is race 7, the benchmark 72 for the girls over the 1,400 metres. And favourite, probably hard to beat here, Brookspire. Again, it might be a JMac day tomorrow, but resumed chasing Harmony Rose, who we mentioned. Was in the worst part of the track, stuck sort of back to the middle of the track. And the first and second came down the outside. I know Fast Chanel's come out and not run well at all, but I'm saying springboards off that and can run well here. Main Danger, again, we've seen this the last few weeks. Isafar coming here, Chris Waller, no trials, which he did with Kiku last week when it bolted in, and maybe a bit of a new play now for Chris Waller coming in, no trials. Look, I think it was a big horse of ability last time, and I think they're the two for me. Anything to add?
Nothing to add there, mate.
And we'll wrap up the day in the last, where I, again, not a massive confidence race. Do you have anything to finish off the day here?
I didn't really have anything with confidence, but if you wanted to have a play in a spec, I did find High Master down in the weights. Probably looking for a little bit further than this, but first up over 1,400. Trialled well. Its 2 trials have been okay against some pretty decent horses. So it ran less than 2 lengths, 4th behind Graceful Glamour and Abilius in its trial, which was a nice little trial. And prior to that, ran a few lengths behind Lost and Running, which is a horse that's got plenty of wraps on it. So, look, could be up to the mark here. Nothing of significant confidence in this race, but if you want to have a play around in the last, because you've got a bit of money in your pocket, maybe a each way High Master.
Yeah, one I'm going to make a small case for at 20 is No Escape. I think it's just come back really well this prep. I mean, we are talking about a 50 start. 50 starts for 8 wins, but both runs this prep should have been the finish. It is carrying Michaela Weir, who, if it was carrying someone else, might have finished closer both those starts. So, you know what you're getting, but at 20s, I think the horse itself is going really well this prep. So we'll go into any quarter I might have tomorrow, and I thought Exceltics is sort of in the same boat, just going really well this prep without a lot of luck. But they're the two for me. Same sort of thing. No massive confidence. Do you want to wrap up your thoughts at Kenzo tomorrow?
My thoughts are this, mate. My best of the day is race 2, number 1, Etheric. And my value bet of the day comes up in race 5, number 3, Tinker McPhee.
Cool. Well, away from that, I'll make my best Naj Marty if it runs up to the trials. I agree with you of Tinker McPhee, and at the 20s, let's say No Escape, maybe my value there. Let's head down to Sandown and have a look through this, as I realise that my notes haven't saved. Let's get down to Sandown, where we're on Lakeside. The rail's out 3, so hoping we can make ground here at Sandown, but we'll see how the track plays. It has been very on pace there. As the rail tends to get on Lakeside, at least you can make a little bit of ground. Sort of forecasting that to be the case. Where do you want to kick off for the day, Beaver, for yourself?
Look, mate, I thought the first was a pretty difficult race. A few chances in that, so I kind of left that clear. I thought the second race sees a pretty hard horse to beat in Guns A-Blazing.
Mm-hmm.
Look, there's only 2 chances here. Thirds of Light's going good, but it's off a Colac win, which was okay. But look, I think Guns A-Blazing probably a bit too classy for these, and with Jamie Carr aboard, should get the right run.
Yep, agree. Not much more to add. Has had the 2,400 metre run, gets control of this race, and shouldn't have too many issues getting around and doing the same thing. And I'm saying in race 3, the 78 over the same distance, over the 2400, it was a 3000, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm saying Shepherd probably does the same. Gets control, rolls forward, and does exactly what it did a couple of weeks back in a same sort of race. So yeah, a couple we can link up there. Race 4.
I think so too.
Race 4 is the benchmark 70 over the mile. Do you like the favourite here? For
I do.
Hawks? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do like the favourite here for Team Hawks. Look, coming from Kembla, taking it down to Melbourne for a kill here. Look, it was pretty good back in October against, and it was only a benchmark 64, but it won with some authority in my mind. And that was its first up run in Australia. I think it'll only be improved by that. Big track will suit, and 1600 first up looks ideal. So Pale King for me.
Yeah, agree. Because and even out of that race, Electrified, sort of, borderline city horse and gonna love us. So I think the form there's fine. I think that's on top for me as well. I'm just looking at the 2 scratchings. Can probably roll forward and have a reasonable position here too. There's not much pace. Should have enough of these. Main danger and might lead here is our Chevalier around $10 mark. Just because it can see if it is on pace, might be the danger. The rest of the card for me is I'm relying on being able to run on, just as a caveat for the rest of my tips. So I'm hoping we can make ground from the back, because I think there's some nice betting opportunities if the track's playing pretty fair. Kick off the quaddie race 5, the Class 1. What about this race for you, Beef?
What do you like?
Number 7, Breesley. It was an incredible win last start. I missed the start 3 lengths, rounded them up and won by 3. Very nice win. And $13 if we can run on. I'm saying it's a good play here. Now just looking at it, it's been back. Seguso, I think, is a decent horse and has beaten a Prix Le Maire, who will be a good chance in the first race. So we'll have a bit of an idea on that. So they're 2 for me. How about yourself?
Yeah, I was a bit similar to you. I found Breesley down in the market as well. I thought it was pretty impressive last start, and I also thought Hit the Moon showed enough ability as well. So in what I think is a pretty open race here, I'm happy to play the $11 and $13 shots.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I'm with you. 3-year-old fillies benchmark 64. Another really good race. Return of Agreeable from some group form, chasing the likes of Odium and Victoria Key in personal. Do you like her here?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It was a horse that I liked a lot early in the last preparation, tapered off a little bit. They did have some wraps on it, and gets first up here in what seems to be a very winnable race. Drawn a little bit wide, which is a bit of concern, which means he's going to have to be able to run on from down the middle of the track. But I think it's just head and shoulders above this lot.
Yeah, I think this is a classic case of they got her out to a distance for the Oaks and just realised she didn't really stay. I think she'll be trained a bit sharper this prep. And I'm with you. Booking a Jamie Carr obviously says enough there. And the matching colours with Mark Dar on board, best episode, I think, is the main danger. Just debuted behind Sensationalisation and a nice win last start. Good race for the Friedman camp. Connive will probably go in a quaddie, just sat outside lead last week, quick backup now, gate 1, and leads here is probably the 3rd horse I'll look out for a quaddie if I'm playing that way. Race 7, as my system uploads, benchmark 70. And again, hoping, drawn sort of a bit yuck, but there's 2 ways I can look at this race. Either it's a rinse and repeat of what Ferretti did last time here, where it just got control, probably gets a looser lead here after sitting outside lead and was pretty dominant. So it either repeats that dose and does the same thing, or I think a horse like Galactus might duck and weave and be the one that just snipes. I thought it was a great, almost run of the day at Sandown. I think it was 3 weeks back. And I think it's a very talented horse. Well, for this level, a very talented horse. So on top, actually, for me, probably Galactus with the caveat. It's going to need a lot of luck. How are you looking at it?
Yeah, I come up with it very similar to you. I like Galactus. It's in tip-top form. Ran third last start against some fairly decent horses, I think, that had some good winning form. Freddie was impressive last start. Yeah, but had everything go its way, so it's got to be a bit hard to beat. And a horse like Task and Purpose isn't without a chance. But no, Galactus for me.
Mm-hmm. Great. And anything in the last we wrap up the day over the 1,200 metres?
Yeah, I didn't mind Rathlin. First up, they put a bit of money on Rathlin, and it wasn't the worst run in the world. I think it'll be further improved by that run, and probably the 1,400 first up probably just told on it in the end. Back to 1,200 today or tomorrow probably suits a little bit more. Gets a 3 kilo claim from Laura Lafferty. Again, it's going to hopefully sit on the leader's back and hopefully get a split and power home.
Can ride Laura Lafferty too. I've got no problem backing her, particularly in the bush down there. Yeah, I think Garvox is too short just because it was an absolute tragedy beat last start, and may well win. It just had nothing. I like what you found there, and I'll make a case for Arigato, who had to sit outside lead 3 weeks back outside Knowles, and a reasonable form race there, and just faded out. I think here with Cartwright on can roll across and take control, and might be tough to run down. But yeah, I like your thinking there. And quick summary, Beaver. Got through that nice and quickly. How are you approaching Sandown?
Yeah, so my best bet comes up in race 6, number 2, Agreeable.
Mm-hmm.
And my value bet of the day comes up in race 7, number 8, Galactus.
Nice. I'll make my best. Well, I like the bracket of sort of Guns Blazing and Shepherd race 2 and 3. I like the ones you've mentioned, and I'll make my value. Where are we here? I'll make my value Galactus as well, actually. I'll go with you there. What have you got for us up north? You had a look?
Yeah, got a few up north. Yeah, I have had a look for you, mate. I've got a few. Got race 5, number 2, Kim Pempe. Mm-hmm. And then I've also got race 7, number 4, Warakata Shura.
Warakata Shura, yeah.
Yeah. And in the last shorty, but one that you can just double up with a couple others is Who's Your Dealer?
Very nice. Good work, Beaver. Check out progretracing.com.au for their free tips and extensive guides as well as give us a subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Good luck tomorrow, Beaver. Good luck to everyone. Bring on footy season. That's on the way as well. That's coming up in 2 days' time. Good luck to all the super coaches out there. And
beautiful.
Yeah, looking forward to a big weekend of racing. We'll be back on Friday with, I believe, a special guest. And we'll be looking at the All-Star Mile and the Coolmore for the girls in Sydney. So another good day of racing there, Beaver. Catch you then.
Looking forward to it. See you, mate.
Mate.